Unfortunately, we do not do this for applause. We do it for cash.
Yes, this is most pleasant.
We can stay.
All the rest of the day as far as I'm concerned.
That's what we mean.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are here for a demonstration of swordplay, you have come to the right place.
Huzzah!
I am Colonel Samuel Birch. This is my good friend, Major James Beaumont, Ensign Sherman, and Miss Webster, my protege. We are going to talk to you today about the weapons, the bladed weapons, that the British military uses currently in combat and fighting and other means. We'll talk about each one. We will demonstrate how it is used. And when we are finished, you'll have an opportunity, if you wish, to come over and look at the blades. But we'll have some rules which we will talk about later. So we'll first start with the small sword. Small sword, obviously it is small, therefore it is a small sword. It is shaped interestingly on the blade. You'll note, if you can see it, that the blade is triangular in shape. If you are familiar with the bayonets that the infantry uses on the ends of their muskets, that is the same shape. Imagine the wound that this would cause. Cuts all come together in a point. It's very difficult to mend. Triangular shape gives this sword more strength. It is a thrusting weapon, so the edges are not sharpened, only the tip. You'll note that the handle or the grip area, the hilt, is very ornate. This is because the small sword is a gentleman's sword. It's very expensive. It is something like a piece of jewelry. One wears this sword as a gentleman all the time. Social events, they move about society, they wear one of these. This gives them the opportunity, myself and the Major included, the ability to defend ourselves should someone have set upon us, or if someone should impugn our honor. Now you may say, why would you fight with a sword if your honor is at stake? I will tell you, honor to a gentleman is everything, and the reason that is true is because if I do not have honor, I am not able to obtain credit. I cannot make purchases. I cannot purchase land. I cannot move through society if I'm considered dishonorable. Thus, if I'm considered dishonorable, my life is over anyway. So I will fight to the death if need be to protect mine own honor and therefore my life. Now, this particular weapon is also used by the military. Primarily the officers in the infantry. Now I'll allow Major Beaumont, who is the commander of infantry, to explain.
Thank you, Colonel. Now, this particular weapon I would use on the field of battle only to direct my troops. I would tell them where to go, where I wished them to go, how to do it, and so forth, so on. That is the primary function. The secondary function of this weapon is, of course, for defense or maybe even offense. In fact, there was a lieutenant that I've known. He came back from a battle and he was very excited. He was writing home excitedly because he actually got to use one of these to kill someone on the field of battle.
Oh, truly, sir.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
There is more than one type of small sword. First of all, they have the spadroon. The spadroon is a favorite of military officers. You'll note that the blade is more flat. It's a diamond shape, but it is a more flat blade. This particular blade is typically sharpened on the edges, much like a rapier or a broadsword would be, as well as the tip. However, it is a small sword, so it is designed for personal combat. The other blade I have in my hand is called a Polish mod. What do you see that is different about this weapon? Use it.
It's thicker.
Yes, it is very broad at the forte and then very narrow on the foil. This gives the sword a lot of strength to block cuts, but also, because it is narrow at the tip, it is lighter and therefore very quick.
Now, it only takes 3 inches to kill someone. If you strike him in between the rib cage, you will pierce his lung, and he will drown slowly and agonizing in his own blood. If you strike him in the heart, death will come quick if he is fortunate. So remember, ladies, the quickest way to the man's heart is between the third and fourth ribs. And of course, the face is very much a formidable target. I read of a duel one time where the loser got struck through the eye with one of these. With such force that everyone around watching the fight could easily hear the tip of the blade strike the back of the skull. Death was instantaneous.
Mercifully for him. Now, this particular weapon is fought with a style that is brought to us from the French. What happens is I will point my toe towards my opponent and the sword blade toward my opponent. I will turn my back foot at a perpendicular position here. This blades my body towards my opponent, making it a smaller target. I'll then take my hand, which I do not want in the way, I do not want to be stabbed. I'll bring it back here out of the way, and then when I thrust, I will throw my hand back to maintain balance. This is a thrusting weapon, and that is its primary attack. Now, Miss Webster is going to assist me. She is a student of mine. She's going to assist me with this demonstration. You may ask yourself,
Are they
well,
gonna hit
it's
the
not a
sword
sword for
soon?
men. It's not something that men carry, or why would a girl have a sword? Well, I'll tell you that it is not common, but some women of means will receive training, or they or their husbands will have their daughters receive training, and that is the case with Miss Webster.
Now, myself and Colonel Birch, we both teach the use of these particular weapons here. And when we have ladies who join our salets and our salons and so forth, so on, we have come to the conclusion, and through observation, that women tend to take up sword plating rather quickly. A lot of us gentlemen believe it is because of their natural grace and talent inherent in all ladies, but some of the scoundrels actually believe that they have something to prove. Nevertheless, it is a very elegant and deadly combination, a woman with a sword, and I can assure you, I speak for most men here, there's something about a woman with a sword in her hand.
The next weapon we are going to discuss is the basket hilt broadsword. The broadsword is a very ancient weapon. It comes down after
This is
centuries
bright
of being
vibes.
around. It is a weapon that is sharpened on both sides, and the tip is very strong. It is designed to take off body parts. This particular type of weapon has a basket hilt. The basket hilt was first formed in the late 16th century, and it has been around ever since. Though most of the British military does not use this weapon, the Scots, the savages that they are, still do. As you note, this gives my hand a great deal of protection. This is a type of weapon that historically one would carry some sort of shield with it. You fight with the sword, protect yourself with the shield. You no longer carry shields, they're cumbersome, particularly in gunfire. However, the basket hilt is designed both to protect my hand, and in close quarters, I can use it to strike my enemy if need be, or even pummel him with the pummel. That reminds me, Major, did you not have a story about a young Scotsman wielding one of these?
Oh, yes. There was a story I read of a young Scotsman who went into battle with one of these, and unfortunately he was killed on the field of battle. He was eviscerated from head to toe, cut to ribbons he was, with the exception of his hand still clutched in his basket hilt, never touched by another weapon.
Wow.
Now this particular type of fight, I face my opponent because it comes anciently by carrying a shield. So you'll notice that Major Beaumont and I are going to face straight on toward one another in this particular type of fighting.
And this is more of a hacking style of type of fighting.
Yes.
Yeah! Don't leave yourself open.
saber. The saber is a cavalry weapon, which is what I do for a living, and so this is my favorite sword. There are two types of sabers. There is the straight saber, much like the broadsword, it's straight, only sharpened on one side. This is the curved saber, which comes to us from Persia by way of Hungary. You'll note on this weapon that it is flat on one side. It creates a wedge shape. If you can imagine a wedge, much like an axe, what it is used for is used for splitting open wood. This has the same concept involved. The curve, instead of a hacking motion like the broadsword, I use more of a slicing motion. This is ideal when riding on horseback, from attacking an individual, particularly if they're infantry. I can come through and slice and pass by without my sword getting stuck on their body.
Right at convenient height of neck level.
Yes. Major. I'm well. Yeah, you notice this type of fighting is done much more closely in proximity because of the slicing motion. Ah!
What is that?
That's so. The last weapon we're going to speak about today, it looks much like the curved saber, you'll notice, but it's missing something. It is a shorter blade called a hanger. This particular weapon is somewhat different in the sense that the hilt is cast from one piece. Most swords use separate parts and they're assembled. This one is one piece. It allows for less expense in manufacturing the blade, and thus there can be more mass produced. This weapon is used primarily by non-commissioned officers in the infantry, and I allow Major Beaumont to explain that.
Certainly. When a corporal or a regular soldier gets promoted to non-commissioned officer status, otherwise known as a sergeant, they are given not only their bayonet, but also the hanger as well. They're given the hanger as a mark of their authority. And when the regular soldier looks upon another soldier and sees that he has a sergeant sash and a hanger, then he knows he is dealing with somebody who is a sergeant or above.
Now, we are often asked about the cutlass. People are familiar with this weapon. We do not use the cutlass. The cutlass is a naval weapon. So it is carried on shipboard by sailors. Seamen carry this. This is similar to the cutlass in its length and its style, only the hilt is different. But you can imagine that sailors or seamen do not want a long blade on the ships. There's a lot of ropes around, and do not want to break ropes. Plus, in close quarters combat, a long sword opens you up to attack much more easily, whereas a short sword is easier to fight on a deck with lots of men on it. Now we'll open up for questions, and afterwards, when we're done with questions, you can come over and look at the swords after I explain the rules. Does anyone have any questions?